I've handed in your divorce papers.
What? What are you talking about?
I'm saying I did you a favor and handed in your divorce papers. Makes sense you can't understand, seeing as you have no education. Your head is filled with air.
Sophie, you've been saying that a lot lately. There are things you can and cannot say to people. How many times have I told you?
What do you mean? All I'm doing is speaking the truth.
Even if that were true, it's no excuse. It doesn't matter if you think something is true or not. You can't say that to people. You're almost in high school, so you should understand by now. Before you judge someone on their education, you have to judge them as a human.
Hey, it doesn't matter how much you talk. I'll never listen to a dropout.
Dropout?
I heard from Dad. You're a dropout who didn't finish high school.
Your father said that.
That's right. He said you only finished middle school and are as stupid as they come. Come to think of it, you aren't really good at doing anything.
Is that what you think?
Yeah, like you can't cook any of the food I want to eat. Instead, just cook crap that you take out of the freezer.
I work full-time. On top of that, I have to do all the household work. So I use food I've frozen in advance. It's called meal prepping, Sophie. It's very common. Also, what do you mean the food you want to eat? You always ask for deep-fried food. I'm thinking about the nutrition when I make your food.
People who can't read what their child wants are bad parents.
Well, if that's what you think, how about you lend a hand with the housework? If I get some assistance, I'd be able to cook something from scratch every day. You and your father don't lift a finger around here. All I hear are complaints.
Are you seriously trying to put the blame on me now? I'd stop that and start thinking of ways to fix your problem. I can't believe how useless you are. Dropouts are on another level. It's good you and Dad are going to divorce.
Speaking of, I haven't seen any divorce papers. I certainly haven't signed any.
Your signature was taken care of by yours truly. I already told you I handed everything in.
You're serious about that?
As serious as can be.
I need to talk with your father. Phil, can you tell me what is going on? What's this I'm hearing about divorce papers? So, Sophie told you? Why would our daughter fake my signature and hand in divorce papers? This is like some poor comic story. Does she understand what she has done?
She's the one who asked me to do it.
She did? Why?
She wants us to get divorced.
Why would she want that?
She thinks the future is going to be bleak with you as her mother. She's asked me to find someone else to spend my life with. When the daughter you love asks you something like that, you can't just say no.
Do you understand what this means? Putting a fake signature on our divorce papers is forgery. And you made our daughter do that.
That's what she wanted. What can you do about it?
About a year ago, she started acting very rebellious towards me for no reason. I was thinking it was some phase kids go through when they're teenagers. But I'm wondering, did you actually tell her I was a dropout?
All I said was you're incompetent.
Why would you say something like that?
It's true, isn't it? You're working full-time and earn less than me. You don't get anywhere in life.
That's only because no one helps me with the housework. The house would collapse if I had a job that made me work a lot of overtime. If I got an important project, I'd have to turn it down.
That's what makes you incompetent. Doing the housework is a woman's job. You need to find a way to take care of the house as well as work. You know, the president of my company is known to love taking care of his wife and does the housework as well.
Of course I know that.
If a company president can find a way to get the housework done, why can't you? I know why. It's because you're incompetent.
But your president shares the load with his wife. It's not like he's doing all of it on his own. Don't compare him to our situation. He has the means to pay for cleaning staff and maids to do a good job cleaning.
There's no use talking about this. I'm done with you. Sophie doesn't need you, and I definitely don't need you. Let's get this divorce.
What do you mean you don't need me?
This conversation is over. Just pack your stuff. Sophie is doing her best to get into a private high school. If we were the ones that had to move out, that would really jeopardize her future, right?
Okay, I get it. I thought you two noticed how much I do for our family. You're right. Let's get divorced.
Don't you get it? We're already divorced. You really are stupid.
There's no need to be rude. So what now? Who has custody over Sophie?
Let's leave that to her.
I don't plan on seeing her after this. You can have her.
You still have to pay child support.
I'll talk to a lawyer about that. I need some time to find someone reputable.
You don't have any time. You need to pay child support in a lump sum as soon as possible. I'm going to keep a memo until the money comes through.
It's going to take time to move out, so I need to stay here a little bit longer.
You've got 2 weeks. That's it.
Fine. I didn't want to use my paid leave for this, but seems I don't have a choice. I'll be out as soon as I can.
Listen here, lady. Your papers are in and you are officially divorced. Do you mind leaving already?
It's not easy moving out of a home you've lived in for over 10 years.
I thought you would say that, so I gathered your things and put them outside.
Why would you do that? Those are my things!
The faster you leave, the better. Consider it the last act of love from your daughter. I know you're just waiting for Dad to break and change his mind.
Excuse me?
I'm right, aren't I? You're waiting for him to say we can all live together again. That's what a dropout would try and do. Don't think Dad will change his mind so easily.
That wasn't what I was thinking.
Let me tell you something that might convince you to hurry up.
Moving takes time, but let's hear it anyway.
Dad's already found someone. I'm going to have a new mom. So there's no space for you to stay here. I want to welcome my new mom here as soon as possible. I don't need an uneducated woman around me anymore.
A new mom? What are you talking about?
I'm saying Dad's been cheating on you.
Are you serious? And you knew?
Obviously someone as dumb as you wouldn't be able to notice. I saw Dad walking with a young, beautiful girl about a year ago after I came home from school. When I asked who it was, he said it was my new mom.
So this whole time I was thinking you were having a rebellious phase. It was actually because of this new girl?
Dad said this new mom would be way better than a dropout. So I decided to help him get things rolling.
Meaning you helped him to cheat on me?
I guess so. I would say Dad and I were going shopping or something on weekends, but all of that was a lie. Dad gave me some money and I hung out with my friends. At the same time, Dad was getting schemy with his new girl.
I can't believe what I'm hearing.
I gave him an alibi and helped him with everything. He didn't realize anything, which made me realize something. You're a real dimwit, just like he said.
So, those days I was stuck here at home, you two were both scheming and backstabbing me.
Someone with a brain cell in their head would have realized from the start. My new mom has a good education. She's a college graduate. Not only that, she placed first in a beauty pageant back in school. To top it off, she was even approached by a television company. Now that's a mom I can be proud of.
I wonder, is that person someone who works with your father?
That's right. Some subordinate working in his department.
Is that right?
Our DNA may be different, but I'd much rather have a mom with a great educational background helping get into a good high school. That's why I helped Dad with his cheating.
I get it now. I spoke with your father and he's going to have custody over you.
Obviously. By the way, even if you have the right to see me, I've got no intention in going to our meetings. Your stupidity is like a virus. I don't want to catch it. Being in the same room is frightening enough. Having you in the same house is a nightmare. Get out of here, you dropout!
You know it's actually your father that dropped out of school, right?
Yeah, right. Your lies won't work on me.
Didn't I say it clear enough? That's strange. I did my best to keep it simple enough for a middle school student to understand. Your father dropped out of school.
That's a little bull. There's no way Dad dropped out. Don't lie about Dad to me.
He is the one lying to you, Sophie. He dropped out of high school as soon as he turned 16 because his parents pressured him too much. He's always had a complex about his educational background, and he's brought you up to be the same. For your information, I have a college degree.
So you're telling me Dad dropped out of high school and you have a degree? That means Dad was lying to me this whole time?
You said sharing the same air as a dropout is a nightmare, but you'll be sharing that air with your father from this point on.
Yeah, well, even if you did graduate from college, I bet it wasn't a good one.
Are you still trying to look down on me? Oh, you're really that desperate to belittle me?
Spit it out! It was some second-rate school, wasn't it?
I went to BU. Hardly second-rate.
No way! I don't believe you. Dad said you never even graduated high school. He said he earns more than you despite how much you work.
That's only because I put my family first. I turned down a lot of promotions to make sure I had time to take care of you. And I was happy to keep doing that, at least until your education was finished. Without me, no one would be cleaning the house. As for my income, I only make a little less than your father annually. There's less than $300 difference in our paychecks each month.
Only $300?
Your father has a complex regarding education. He doesn't want his pride hurt, so he protects it by saying he earns more than me. While it's true he does earn a bit more, he also works much more overtime than me. I wonder why his pay is still close to mine while I'm the only one working on the house.
I can't get over the idea that Dad was the dropout.
Well, I'm sure you'll get used to the idea. And don't worry, I've used all my paid leave for this week and will be out of the house by the weekend. Please welcome your new high education mother to the house.
I get it! You don't have to rub it in. Anyway, my new mom won a beauty pageant, so she's still leagues better than you. Dad may have dropped out, but he still works for a famous company. No issues here.
I'm glad you're clinging to your father instead of me. He's all you've got left now, after all. Keep up that attitude and try not to leave your father's side.
Hey! What's the meaning of this? Why are we losing the house? We were getting so comfy without you around. You won't get Dad's attention by harassing us like this.
It's not harassment. That house is under my name and I've decided to tear it down.
Your name? What do you mean under your name?
My father gave me that house. I own the property. It's mine. I remodeled the house and have lived in it since.
But Grandpa lives somewhere else.
Your grandfather has his own life. He doesn't need to live with us. Anyway, he gave the property to me before I ever married your father. As it is mine, I'm free to do with it as I will.
You must be joking.
By the way, did you know that people that cheat have a drastic decrease in their cognitive capabilities? Which is why your father probably forgot really obvious details. Like who owns the house. He also forgot that the president of his company is my father.
You're kidding!
Nope. Your father works for my father. Your grandpa is the president. Your father hates my relatives, so that's why you haven't met them. Plus, your grandpa is very busy anyway, so there just aren't that many chances to see him.
No way! Why didn't anyone ever tell me this?
I think my family made your father feel inferior. Maybe that's why he always took everything out on me. Anyway, I've talked to your grandfather and it looks like I've got some more bad news for you besides the house. Your father and the girl he is having an affair with are both going to be fired.
What? Why?
It looks like they were going out on dates using company money. That's illegal, you know. The severance package they would usually be entitled to will be used to compensate for the money they stole.
Let me get this straight. Not only are we losing the house, but they're both losing their jobs?
Bingo.
I'll be going to a private all-girls school. You know that, right? I need money for the admission and uniforms.
Who knows if those two are capable of paying for that type of thing?
Child support! As my mother, you are obligated to pay me child support.
I've already had a word with my lawyers and spoke with your father yesterday.
So you know you have to pay me until I'm an adult, right?
Wrong.
Why is that exactly?
I looked into his affair. That's how I found out about the money he stole from the company. On top of that, it looks like they have been dating for 3 years now. Taking into account the length of time he was cheating up until you spilled the beans, the child support I would pay for you and the alimony that he owes me would work out to be the same amount, effectively canceling each other out. As for the distribution of assets, we're both entitled to our own savings.
So how much would Dad have?
Playing around with his new girlfriend, he probably spent a fortune, which is most likely why he took money from the company. I would say his bank account is close to $0.
This is too much to take in.
I'll also be suing the girl he was having an affair with. Not sure where those two are headed, but do your best to stick with your father.
Mommy, I want to stick with you.
Do you think that's going to work at this point?
I'll help with the house. Just let me be with you. Let's live together, just as girls.
Sorry, but you've used up all of your unconditional love. Anything from here out needs to be earned.
How could you? I'm your only daughter.
I've always wanted the best for you, but you believed your father without the least bit of evidence and actively sabotaged our family. I won't forget how much you tried to look down on me.
I'm so sorry for that. If I had known Dad was using me to hide his affair, I would have done differently. I'm a victim here.
You can't play the victim card at this point. Even if you were used, you still said some hurtful things to me. You chose to say those things. You may still be a child, but a teenager should have enough intelligence to understand their actions.
Mom, please. At least let me stay with Grandpa. There's no future with Dad.
You've made the decision already.
Mom, I'm so sorry.
Before I forget, I better show my gratitude.
Gratitude?
For telling me about your father's affair. With that piece of information, it made it much easier for me to put the pieces together.
If I hadn't told you, Dad would still have his job, wouldn't he?
As your mother, here is my last lesson to you. Think about how others feel before you speak. When you're out in the real world, learn as much as you can. Lastly, there is no one out there that it's okay for you to put down. Have some compassion for everybody. Goodbye, and good luck.
Wait, stop, Mom! Don't throw away your daughter!
Oh, that's right. My house is being demolished at the start of next month. Make sure you're gone by then.
How can I do that when I have nowhere to live?
I'm divorced now, so your father's circumstances have nothing to do with me. I'll devote my time into working. Goodbye, Sophie.
Mom, I'm begging you! Come back! I promise I'll help out at home. I won't put you down anymore. Mommy? Please don't abandon me.
Both my ex-husband and his partner were fired, and now live in a cheap place way out in the country with Sophie. Sophie gave up on her dream of going to the private school she wanted and now attends a public high school. Due to her father's circumstances, though, she still struggles with everyday things like paying for school trips or going out on the weekends with her friends. I'm sure her dad is just waiting for her to turn 16 so she can drop out of school and start working to help them make ends meet.